Welcome everyone to Not That Media. My name is John, and in this new series of videos entitled The 12 Scares of Christmas, starting December Friday the 13th, 2024 and running till Christmas Eve, I'm going to be giving you 12 film recommendations, all of them Christmas movies, all of them horror, some a little scarier than others, some a little bit more family friendly, something for everyone I hope. I've made this list, I've checked it twice, you better watch out and I hope you're ready to slay, because come along with me as I start The 12 Scares of Christmas. In 1984's Night of the Comet, when the Earth passes through the tail of a comet, an event that hasn't occurred since the destruction of the dinosaurs, huge crowds turn out onto the streets to watch. However, when the cosmic occurrence wipes out most people on the Earth, two aimless valley girls, Sam and Reggie, are left to battle against zombies and a menacing group of scientists. So Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good fright. Thank you for joining me on yet another one of my 12 Scares of Christmas. If you're new here, firstly, thank you for finding me and watching this video. Please do consider liking and subscribing, and share with any family, friends or like-minded horror hounds. If you are an ongoing viewer and a subscriber, thank you as always for your loyalty and ongoing support. Now, if you are not subscribed, I really would appreciate it if you could subscribe. At the time of recording, 9 months into my time on YouTube, I am on 221 subscribers. Would love to finish the year on 250. It's early days, really trying my hardest to get as much creativity and as much different choice and recommendations out there to hopefully appeal to more people. The more interest I get, the more videos I will be able to do, because it is one of those situations where if there's the interest out there, I will cater to it. So if we can get over 250, that would be amazing. So on to my film recommendation. So faithful viewers, you might be forgiven for sitting there and saying, why on earth for this Christmas horror series are you recommending Night of the Comet? It's a sci-fi horror comedy from 1984, and in turn was making fun of 1950s horror sci-fi movies. So what has this got to do with Christmas? Well, and it's a wonderful cosmic coincidence, and this is all about Cosmic Night of the Comet. I was really surprised when I sat down to work out my 12 Scares of Christmas, which would run from December 13th through to December 24th, planning out which films I wanted to be on there. I started it with a fairly loose kind of skeleton of ideas of the main films I wanted to hit, but I allowed myself some time to look over the shelves and do a little bit of research to discover what is and isn't a Christmas horror film. To my surprise, Night of the Comet is not only a Christmas film, but it is a film I actually own as well. I bought the new Blu-ray for the 40th anniversary that came out earlier this year. Now, to explain why it is a Christmas film, the comet in the titular title Night of the Comet, what goes over the Earth and more importantly over America, where the film is set, at 2:37 a.m. on December the 14th, 1984. Now, what I couldn't pass up here, of course, is the fact that I had the opportunity to do a video, present it as a recommendation, and put it out 40 years to the day the film is set on December the 14th, 2024. Spooky? Cosmic coincidence? Or just one of those things that happen? I'll let you be the judge. So let me be upfront. Night of the Comet is unlike any film I'm going to recognise on my 12 Scares of Christmas. I do recommend it, I do think it's a good time, but it is not a traditional Christmas film. What I would say is once you've watched Killer Christmas Trees and Killer Santas and all this kind of stuff a few times, sometimes you just want to watch something a little bit different and you just want to immerse yourself in a different universe. This is not a comedy in the sense of ha-ha. It is more the heightened characteristics of these characters that create a more comedic situation. They're not telling jokes, they're not doing pratfalls or anything like that. The way to describe it is that these are characters, Sam and Reggie, two late teenage, early adult girls who are down on their luck, looking for boys and struggling. One of them being a blonde cheerleader, the other being a brunette cinema clerk, when they wake up to discover that everybody they know and love is dead, and everything they've ever known is going to change forever because the entire human race is dead. They are just dust in the streets. Do they fall down crying and hugging and wondering what they're going to do? Are they going to figure out how to survive, rebuild the economy, look for survivors? No, they just decide to go to the most expensive mall and start trying on all the outfits and all the jewelry. Now, let's be honest, that's exactly what a lot of kids would do. So that's the kind of level of comedy we're talking about here. When it comes to the science fiction, yeah, there is a heavy sci-fi element on it, but I don't want people to be deterred by that as well. We're talking about astral comets, we're talking about mysterious governments, so sci-fi is always an element when it comes comes to that. The film does have a good horror element to it, so it does quantify as a horror movie. There are zombies in it. What I would say to you, though, if you are expecting George A. Romero level zombies, if you're expecting hundreds in the street tearing places apart, you will probably be disappointed. So if you're going to watch this film, just temper your expectations in that I believe there are actually only 4 zombies in the whole film. There is a narrative reason given why there are suddenly zombies on the street after the majority of the human race is dead. There is a lot of fun to be had when those zombies are seen. They are treated seriously, they are dangerous, they are fun to watch, but ultimately the film is all about how these 2 teenage girls are going to survive in this post-apocalyptic world and what happens when they meet other people. In the mall, they very quickly meet a group of like-minded teenagers who in turn decide to start shooting at them and take them hostage. So there's a fantastic action gun scene in the middle of a mall, exactly the kind of thing you would expect to happen in a post-apocalyptic world. So again, this film goes through all the cliches and is having a good time having it. It's a bright film, it's a colourful film. It's got some great effects. The effect of the sky being changed a different colour as a result of the comet is fantastic. There is a hauntingly scary element to it in that obviously the whole human race is dead. Every street is full of this kind of bizarre sandy powder, which is clearly the remains of every human they've ever seen, and clothes are littered across the street because in a kind of War of the Worlds style, for reasons unexplained, the comet destroys the matter of the human beings, but not their clothes. So again, there's some fantastic haunting imagery, but this, as I say, is not a deeply scary movie. This is a entertaining time. It is fun. It is mid-80s bright Americana. It is a fantastic soundtrack. It is shot really, really well. It builds and builds quite nicely as well. There are some bizarre characters in this film acting in ways that you would not necessarily expect a human being to be acting, but again, that's all part of the fun and the elevated awareness of the comedy elements of this film. So for that reason, if you're looking just to switch off your brain for a little while, you want to get something that's very different over the Christmas period than your Terrifiers or your Black Christmases or things like that, Night of the Comet will give you that quick fix whilst keeping one toe firmly in the world of horror. I really enjoyed this film. I had a really good time. It is a strange one to think it is a Christmas movie, particularly when you realise, obviously, that it is on December 14th, 11 days before Christmas, and the whole human race is dead. It's a wonderful way just to kill 90 minutes. I think it looks great on the Blu-ray. There's some great Blu-ray extras. I do recommend this film. I can't talk about it in too much detail. I don't want to recommend a specific scene because I don't want to spoil it, because it has to be said a lot of time is spent with the characters, and when the quote horror or the sci-fi elements come in, to give you any of those particular elements I think would spoil particular moments in the film. But I would shout out to the first zombie we see. That is a very fun scene. The way it unfolds, these are almost Return of the Living Dead zombies in that they do speak. They don't run, but they move relatively quickly. They seem to be a bit more compos mentis than your Romero zombies, but again, don't expect too much from them in terms of quantity, but there is quality when they show up. The 2 lead actresses are fantastic. They're having a fantastically fun time. They're very aware of the film they're in. It's a good time for all. I strongly recommend it. So, until the next time, stay scared.
She wants me to haul chips and dips around for a little comet party.